Howdy, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Thought I'd tell everybody about the adventures on my new job. Well, I'm not digging the new job that much yet. And honestly, I don't see it being a long-term position, to be honest with you. It's kind of very unorganized, very uh, chaotic. So I thought I'd give you some of the examples. So I started there Monday morning. I was told to be there at 8:30. No problem. I can handle that. I'm always early anyway. So sure as heck, I get there at 7:50 or 7:55 a.m. They have a closed gate that I kind of forgot about. I wasn't sure if somebody reported there earlier than my report time 8:30. Well, that was not the case. So the little business across the street, I kind of parked in their driveway facing this gate, and they have like a little keypad thing to open and close the gate. That's going to come into play at the end of this story. So Monday morning, there's very chaotic, and I'm thinking I'm going to be training with somebody. Well, that was not the case. It's pretty much, here's all your runs, just have at it. Well, when I did all the courier work before, it was pretty well organized. You had an app that told you how many packages you're delivering to each location. So if you got to, Joe's Bar and Grill, and it said you had supposed to be dropping off 6 packages and you only had 5, you should have known that when you were loading the vehicle. Their operation is totally different. There is no application. Every box is not labeled for the business. You have to kind of figure that out on your own. I don't like that. It creates time delay and chaos. So the first day I was given 10 stops, but they were all over God's creation. And 2 of them were an hour and like hour 20 minutes away from our region. And that was at the end of the day. And I was like, I looked at that first thing in the morning. I'm thinking, no way. The other thing I don't like, didn't like this with the start of that day, the lady that told me to be there at 8:30 didn't show up until like 8:50, 8:55. She opened up the gate. I pull in, park, and everything. So basically, my first half hour, I didn't do anything. Then she has 2 dogs, 2 rescue dogs. The large dog barks a lot, but is just not going to hurt you, but looks like he would hurt you. She has a smaller type rescue dog. It's looks like some type of mix of pit bull or something. And that dog is just BS crazy. And that dog just, it shouldn't be around people. Personally, I don't even think the dog should still be vertical. That dog keeps trying to take a bite out of everybody, and that's going to be an issue going forward. I can see that coming. But so the first day was totally chaotic. So they what they do is they hand write a list of all your stops, right? So, and then they give you the runs. And then they were all the tickets for the runs were not in order. So I had to figure that out later. Initially, it sounded like I was going to Bradenton, which is the furthest stop away. I thought the lady said that to me, but apparently the list said something different. So everything changed. So then I get to doing a bunch of, I had to go to this another warehouse from like a competitor where they receive some of their goods, go pick up their stuff, then sort it, figure out for what deliveries. It's very chaotic. It's just not very. I have some solutions how to fix that, but I doubt they're going to listen to me anyway. But very chaotic. They were kind of rushing me around. Apparently, I was the only delivery driver that day without training. So I'm thinking, like, this is not starting off too good. So the van I was in was a GMC cargo van. I don't know what year it is, and it ran pretty well. Their air conditioning worked pretty good, and but I found out quickly that it had a lot of faults. The very first thing I noticed when I pulled around the building, the back building, to load up these cases of paper and like a bazillion boxes that could barely fit into the van on my first day. I thought that was a little overkill for a new guy, but the right front tire was completely bald, like Kojak bald. It was, and I'm like, yeah, this is a death sentence waiting to happen. So I pointed out, and the lady says, yeah, I think we have an appointment for that coming soon. I'm like, thinking to myself, I'm trying to work with the program, but if I got to get out on I-75 doing 55, 60 miles an hour and I blow a right front tire, it'd be safer to have it in the back, but blow a front tire, we're potentially talking fatalities. My life and probably, whatever else is going to occur. So I wasn't real thrilled about that. There was not really a high standard for safety. So I'm already getting bad vibes. So I've always loaded my own vehicle, my own van. I look at all the stops. I place all the stops in a sequential order that works best for me. They have a reason for doing the schedule their way. But I found out they put a bunch of stuff in my front seat, and I thought that was the stuff that was real far away. Turned out I went to 3 stops that day, and everything that was on my clipboard, I looked at the items, cross-referenced it, delivered that, signed it, delivered it, and then I leave, and then I find one stop. Fortunately, I wasn't that far away. Then I find a box. Instead of the paperwork being on my clipboard, it was taped to the box. So I didn't know there was 2 orders for that same stop. I had to go back. So I was close, got that taken care of. Then same thing happened. An hour later, hour and a half later, I go to a bank, like a private bank, and make a delivery. It was on my clipboard. I crossed off my list. Boom. Then I get further up the road, find another box. Somebody, some of the stuff's in the back, some's in the front. I never loaded it that way. Put everything for the same stop in the same location. That way you're organized. Have all your paperwork on the same clipboard. It didn't start off that way. So now I'm ticked off. So I'm at a place called the Holocaust Museum. I go there, I deliver the package, and my whole front seat was jammed with packages, and I thought most of that was for the locations furthest away. Somebody loaded that. I didn't load it that way, so I would have never done it that way. That's what happened. So when I'm in the Holocaust Museum, I'm coming out from doing the delivery. I cross that one off the list, call back to the office. Hey, I just found another box for the last bank, which was, mile and a half down the road. I said, do you want me to go back, or what do you want me to do? I said, I had no idea. There was multiple orders because it's more on my clipboard. It's taped to the box, and I normally don't do it that way. She says, you can hit that on the way back. So I'm like, all right. So then I had deliveries that were like really far away, almost to Alva where I sell. It was right on the way, and that's like really far. So I'm like, I get there. So I had to do 2 stops. One in one part of a community called Veranda. It was time consuming. Once I got there, it went pretty easy. But then I had to go to another uh, different facility, like a few miles away, for the Veranda. This is a massive community, but now this is their maintenance yard, a different facility. So I was at the golf maintenance, and now I have to go to the regular maintenance, which is, like I said, miles away. Get that done. Then somebody gave me a cartridge for one of these big commercial copiers. I don't know jack squat about commercial copiers. So they tell me I got to go into downtown Fort Myers to, and I kind of see the street and I'm thinking, man, that's not the greatest neighborhood. So let me back up around when I was around the bank or the Holocaust Museum. I go to shut the back door, and all of a sudden now the rear door lock, that mechanism, it won't click up when it hits the receiver. So it's broken, defective. So I pulled the handle. I've fixed these in the past. Sometimes it's a really easy fix. Pull the handle, and then you just kind of do that lever up, and then it'll lock in. No, it's broken. All the screws are almost falling out of the mechanism. I'm like, great. So I'm looking in the van. I don't know what's in the van. There's no rope. I find a binding strap from a case of paper. So I tie a knot to the little U-shaped clamp on the other door. Then I tie it to the handle of the other door just to try and secure it somewhat. I didn't want the door flying open the other direction, hitting another vehicle. So it was flopping around, but I'm like, man, I was so ticked off. Now I'm like, then I also found out the turn signal didn't work. The right turn signal didn't work because I put my flashers on a couple stops. So now I've got a bald tire, back door won't close, and my turn signal doesn't work. I'm like, man, this is a recipe for disaster here. Send me to downtown. I've got a bunch of stuff in the back of the van. The van won't shut. I got to go up, trying to install this cartridge on a commercial copier, get it pulled out, get it installed properly. But there was some other, mechanical problem. So I did the installation correct, but it was like real time consuming doing that. So now the route of travel I have to go to get back, I was told the bank closes at 5. I thought it closed at 4. But when I went to the other stop, I found out there was another box, a different order for the Holocaust Museum. Now I'm really ticked off because whoever loaded the front seat should have given me all the paperwork on the same clipboard. So I was at Holocaust Museum. I crossed it off because I delivered it. Leave. There was no mention of 2 orders. So like, this is the stuff I got to find out the hard way. So I'm not real thrilled about that. So I don't even tell them about the second package, the Holocaust Museum. I figure I'll just deal with that tomorrow. Then she calls me, and she realized where I was in the time period, and she said the bank closes at 5, but they don't take deliveries after 4. So we'll just put that off till tomorrow. So I'm like, all right. So the door slammed on me today. I got cut up because I'm holding cases of heavy product and the wind was blowing pretty bad. So yeah, I got pretty scarred up again. So I'm ticked off how everything went yesterday. It was just total cat. The van was like so filthy. I didn't feel it was safe for the road. I'm trying to deal with it. I'm, making decent money, but if I die after 3 or 4 days because a tire blows out, it's not going to matter anyway. But so today I approach everything with a positive attitude. I tried to. Didn't sleep very well last night because I was nervous about what I was going to run into today, and I was there early again, and I went around the corner to use the restroom. I came back, and somebody was already in the gate like real early, like half hour early, and they had backed my van up to the back door, and I see someone fixing the thing on the back door. So I'm like, cool, maybe somebody told him about this. It's another guy who wasn't working yesterday. I thought I was replacing the guy. I don't know. It's like really weird situation, but so I take all my cooler, my charge cord, put it in the van, that van, which he had backed up to the door now and all this. And then I find out I'm going to be driving the other van. So I'm like, all right, well, whatever. Well, the other van is like worse. I mean, it's like a total disaster. The window is stuck down halfway, the driver's window, 2 pens holding it up. Nothing works. Right turn signal doesn't work. The doors, like they sound like they're going to fall off when you open them up. It's just like these vehicles shouldn't even be road worthy. So I'm like, oh man. And then the weather was kind of sketchy for today, whether it was going to rain. Tomorrow we have like an 80% chance of rain. I better not be in that vehicle because I'm going to be ticked off. The other guy said he's fixing the window that on that vehicle. Tomorrow I'm supposed to be in the other unsafe vehicle, the one, at least the windows go up. We'll see what happens. So here's another thing I never had to deal with before till this outfit. In the courier business, I don't know why anybody would start their day at 9 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't seem logical to me. So what we do is we start at 9 a.m., basically load up what we have to at the shop, go down the road 6 miles to the other warehouse, get the stuff there, and then try and sort it, figure out now there's 2 drivers today. We're both down there. He's pulling what he needs. I'm trying to figure out what I need. And I didn't even have a chance to look at the tickets yet because I'm still new and I'm trying to figure out the game plan, but they're kind of like rushing you. But I didn't even have a chance to look, see what product goes to what order. So now it's like 10 o'clock basically. And I feel like, man, I've got all these stops I got to commit to, and I really don't know where I'm going. All I know is what's first on the list, and I figured, I'll just figure the rest out as I get these stop and sort what I need. Very unorganized. I don't like operating like that. When it comes to business, I try and be organized. So I'm not happy about that. So then this is the part that really ticked me off. There's this huge order of all these like beverage products for the main headquarters of this bank that they order a lot from. But I got to go to Publix grocery store, I got to go to Costco, and I got to go to Aldi's to get 3 different beverage products. I decide I'm going to go to Publix first because that was farthest away, and Costco and Aldi's were side by side. I'm like, all right, that makes sense. They're, relatively close. I had like three line items of things to get at Publix, but it was multiple 12 packs and stuff like that. I get there, finally get everything loaded up in the cart, and I'm going to own this next part as my mistake. I don't know why or how it happened. It's never happened to me before, but I'm like, great, what a way to start day 2 of this terrible job, because unfortunately I need this job or income. I can't find the credit card. I lost the credit card, the company credit card, morning of day 2, and I'm like, oh man, I'm going to get fired, and I cannot find it. I got gas in the morning before we went to the other warehouse. I got $95 worth of gas because the last jack wagon left the van on empty. So I put $95 worth of gas in the van. I used a credit card for that, put the receipt and everything back in I don't know what happened. I thought I put it in my pocket. It may have fallen. I don't know. I can't explain it, but I definitely lost the credit card. I screw up. I don't know where it happened. I did try and call the racetrack gas station back later. They did not have it. I tried calling the the office supply company that we went to after the gas station, in case it fell out in the parking lot. I couldn't get the warehouse guy to answer the phone. So I had to make the phone call to the office and let them know, like, hey, I'm the village idiot here. I lost the credit card. So the office manager, she shows up about 15 minutes later with another credit card. Now I'm in possession of the owner of the company's credit card. I'm like, oh Lord, this is not looking good. I'm really thinking I'm going to get fired at the end of the day. So I'm not happy about that. Really nervous. Then I'm shopping for all these types of weird ass beverages that I've never seen on the market before. I don't know where to look for them. I'm in Costco. First time I ever shopped at Costco was yesterday. And at least I know where the water is. So I had to get 12 40 packs of 16-ounce bottles of water and 4 of the double stack mini bottles, right? And then a bunch of like 35 and 36 count cases of soda, just a lot of stupid stuff. So my cart was loaded to the tilt. So I had to go to Aldi's for one thing. It's like Arnold Palmer tea and lemonade mix or something, like 3 little 12 packs of that. I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like this is like the biggest waste of it's mostly inefficient in my opinion, because the way I did the courier stuff in the past, I would have been on the 5th, 6th stop by that time. Now I'm still shopping for that current day. I'm like, man, this is like such a waste of time. Especially this time of year, we're going to get a lot of rain in the afternoon. And tomorrow's going to be a lot of rain. So not looking forward to that. So my last stop was pretty far away. It was in a town called Immokalee. It's like almost an hour away from where my delivery, I did all these deliveries, got them pretty well. I was almost to my mom's house. That's how close I was. And I called the office and I said, hey, this is where I am. I know I'm an hour away from this delivery in Immokalee. So what do you want me to do? Come back to the office? There's one of the technicians kind of lives near that area. And there was some talk earlier that maybe he could just do that first thing in the morning. I was hoping that was going to occur. No. She says, let me call you back. She calls me back. Now I got to go to, not only do I have to go to Immokalee, I got to come back to the warehouse, pick up another delivery, which is 1 ream of paper. So I got to go all the way to Immokalee and then to Ave Maria, it's a Christian university campus, to deliver 1 ream of paper. So it's crazy. Out there, you hardly have any cell phone reception. GPS is really hard. So I get to the first stop. Everybody's picking up all their kids. It's like a preschool, daycare, and all that kind of stuff all mixed in. I get that delivered, so I'm leaving. I'm looking at the time on the phone. I basically have like 20, 25 minutes to get there. It says I could be there in 15 minutes. My GPS is now not working. It's weird. It would show my vehicle on the path to that location, but when I hit the start button, it would not activate and tell me like, okay, take a left turn in, a quarter of a mile. It wasn't doing any of that. So I'm trying to visually just watch the lines representing, and I couldn't get it to work because I had like basically 1 bar or no bar. So I'm trying to watch that. I'm like, man, this is really bad situation here. I'm trying to get to the last stop, and somehow, by the grace of God, I get there 5 minutes before 5. And I go in there. There was nobody at the reception desk. I'm supposed to get a signature. I just kind of forged the signature, signed my name, left it on because I'm not coming back. I'm not driving an hour just to deliver 1 ream of paper. So I leave. As I'm leaving, I'm calling the office because it's really hard to text and drive. It slow. That makes it very. They want you to do that, but it's so inefficient. It's like I'd rather just pick up the phone, just say what I got to say, and keep moving. So I'm talking to the lady, and I tell her, I said, yeah, I'm leaving Ave Maria now. I said, do you want me to fuel up when I get back, or what do you want me to do? I said, I don't know what time you guys normally leave or whatever. And I could barely hear her because the window is stuck half down, which really ticks me off, right? So I've got wind draft and I'm trying to hear her. She's already soft spoken. And I heard her say, I'm going to leave the gate open for you, manually shut it. And then I thought I heard her say something about 25, but when I heard her say just manually close it, I'm like, all right, I thought it was like on rollers or a slider. She told me not to worry about fueling up till tomorrow. She said, leave the keys in the van, blah, blah, blah. I get back to the warehouse, try and lock the doors. I go try and pull the gate, and I pulled out my van, no, they're like on a mechanized motor. The chain controls that. So I don't have the code. Now I've got one phone number of one employee, the Javier guy, and he's not answering the phone. I don't have any other numbers to call anybody's cell phone to get the gate code. So I'm hanging around hoping the other guy's going to call me back. Nobody calls me back. So now there's 3 vehicles unattended in this industrial park that could be risk for vandalism. So I'm not thrilled about that. I realize it's not my fault, but I don't want to, another check mark against my record. It's like, it would have been really nice day one. Okay, here's everybody's phone number. Program these numbers into your phone. Here's the gate code. Here's the keys to the vans. This is what we're going to do. Today you'll be training. No, I got none of that. Just go and figure it out. Not real excited about that. Then the owner tells me today that he's going to cross-train me to work on copiers. I really got no interest in that, but that's what I got to do to get a paycheck. I guess I'll try and deal with it. I understand the cross-training aspect of business. That's a good, smart business move. But it's like, how about fixing the vehicle first? Get a tire on the vehicle so I don't die in a car accident. I'm just thinking all these things. Now I got to go to work tomorrow. Somebody's going to be ticked off because the gate was left open. I don't have the gate code. I'm like, how am I supposed to succeed when I've been given such a bad hand coming out of the gate? So I'm not real thrilled. And I really want tomorrow to be a good day, but like I said, it's going to be all kinds of rain. I have no idea what to expect. Thursday's supposed to be better. I think we got more rain coming Friday. So they need to get these vehicles up to par. Literally, like the quarter panels on the one I drove today are about to fall off, and it's like all you hear is rattling going. It's just like these things like should have been condemned, in my opinion. But the vehicle I drove on day one, just get some tires on the vehicle and fix the turn signal. That should be easy enough. And the guy fixed the latch in the back, but he says it happens all the time, which is not comforting. Like, how about do a real fix to it? Like, buy the mechanism, replace it, be done with it. I don't know. It's just like, that's how I feel. I just feel like I'm set up for failure. And me losing the credit card today, I own that. I don't know why. I've never done that before. It happened. I have no idea where it is. I checked everywhere possible. I screwed up. So I'm going to own that part. The rest, I think, it's just not very organized. I was told today how efficient they are with their system. I'm thinking, I don't know about that, bro. But I didn't say that, but I just listened and shut my mouth. When I get a little more time under my belt, and hopefully I can prove myself if I make it through the week. I have some suggestions for improvement. A lot of people don't like that, but in my mind it makes sense. But I'll mention that later. But just thought I'd share. I wanted to do a live, but I'm really burnt out. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm really tired, ticked off, miserable. So talk to you guys tomorrow. This is April 11th, 8:05 p.m. as I'm closing out. this may post tomorrow morning, probably about 0800. Peace out, folks. Have a nice wacky Wednesday.